about, how, what are the uh, what are the things that our representative, our governments should be doing to make sure that they safeguard our folks, our citizens. And we're also going to look at some of the aspect of funding aspect and the transparency of that. And we're also going to look at how folks can donate, individual associations or groups or opposition leaders or parties, we call them. They could donate to this cause and make sure that whatever their donations are will go to a right, I mean, on a righteous way. So we're gonna just look at this and then assess the whole situation and see how our people can be helped. So with that, I'm just gonna let um, the panelists go ahead and then give us a comprehensive idea about this coronavirus. I thank you all.
Thank you.
So who's going first?
Then let me start.
Gentlemen go
Yeah.
first. It's always
So
ladies
let's
first.
yeah, ladies,
I'll
ladies
be a
first.
lady and let the gentlemen.
Ladies first. Okay,
Since I'm
good.
the only lady,
Yes.
I will
Okay.
let them. I will let. Yeah.
The majority carries the vote. You know that in the parliament.
Tuma,
You're the
Tuma,
majority.
Tuma, you want to go first or what?
Oh,
If not,
okay.
I can carry on and make it warm. No
Okay.
problem.
Since I'm the only lady, so I
No
will let
problem.
one of the gentlemen go first, and then I will go after them. After one of them, the first
Okay.
one.
Okay. Let me make it. Then you'll help me
Okay.
to make.
So let's try to make our conversation precise because we have some video presentation, and also let's make it as audible as possible. That way our listeners can benefits a lot from it.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Alice.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, all watchers. I'm Alas from Germany, as you know. Many people know me already. And yeah, our topic today about the COVID-19 that is caused by the coronavirus. Yeah, I would like to focus on the precautions again, as we talked about the last meeting or conference, how people can take care and try to make sure that it doesn't even start or extend in our society in the Gambia. The precautions I said the last time, to wash the hands with soap 20 seconds. And then the most important thing, the whole world is saying wash the hands. The most important thing is to use your own towels, please. There is no need washing your hands and 5 people sharing the same towel. That is the most dangerous thing. And nobody is thinking about it. Everybody is saying, wash your hands, wash your hands. There are families, they share the same towel, maybe 10 people. So if you wash your hands with soap, the virus 95% down. But as you take this towel, sharing it with other people who are infected, after washing your hands, you get everything back, or even more than that. So I used to advise people staying even in the compound, make sure that the kids stay also in the compound and everybody, especially when there are older people inside, because we have seen it in Italy. 70% of the deaths are from 60 upward, something like that, you know. So these people are very sensitive and they don't have that much immunity. I mean, young people used to have it too, but with luck, they can survive it. But old people are very, very, very at risk. So, and try to give these old people a space. And then if you have kids going in and out, make sure that when they come, they take out their clothes and wash themselves again, and then hands with soap again, as usual. And they should be very careful. I mean, even if it is possible, by some families, let everybody take his or her own cup, which is safe, because even here in Germany, they wanted to force it in that even a married couple should leave a distance. That is just all to save life. Even if you are in the same house, you can leave distance. Because this thing don't have excuses. Corona is Corona, and we are seeing every day what this thing is doing in the world. It's very sad. So we can try and prevent. We say prevention is better than the cure later. You know, I always emphasize cure because I know our medical standard. You know, we are very lucky. I could say because I have a table here. You could see West Africa, our area going upwards to the desert. These are the gray zones. These gray zones are countries having 1 person to 10 because of the heat, they used to say. Because, for example, the people at the desert, they breathe more than 53 degrees. That's why the corona is not a place. It's not a place for corona to play. But all other regions, you can see how red they are. People are dying in thousands. You know, so still we have to try and take care because, as far as I know, the coronas coming to Gambia now are always from Italy or anywhere outside. But Gambians themselves, they didn't have it before. So we have to be very careful and try and encourage the people also to stay who are coming from Europe. In fact, they should not even come to Gambia now because it's irresponsible. Because everybody knows what is going on in America and Europe. Don't just take your ticket here and then you go. Maybe you are healthy, but you cannot know it. And when you are in Gambia, the symptoms start. So I'm trying to advise everybody, even we in Europe here, if you miss home, try and wait till everything is okay and not to go there and then give them more problems. Because everybody knows that our health standard there, the hospitals and so are not that modern like these people. And these people, even they're having everything they need with a very good high standard, but people are seeing what's going on. What do you think if we try to play about these precautions and something like that happens? You know, we have very few doctors. You know, so these few doctors, they cannot make it with the population of Gambia. We are not prepared for this thing at all. You know, so we start already from hospitals. We don't have that much space. Even the people from Europe, they are being quarantined in a hotel, things like that, you know, and the few doctors we have. So it's very important that we focus more on the precautions than what would happen later. That's my best advice. And then the next thing is, as we know from information, that this virus, they can stay on wood for a certain time, especially metal, you know, they can stay up to 3 days on metal, you know, so things like that. I would advise everybody joining a taxi, please, 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 take a tissue and open the door, if it is possible. And in fact, after everything, go home, change your clothes, if it is possible, wash your hands. That's the first things you have to do, you know, and everybody should understand now in the Gambia that is, we cannot live as before. That is only because of this disease, and everybody should understand it. If I don't shake your hand, understand why. I don't hate you or anything, you know, because we Gambians are very quick with something like that. You know? These are past things, you know, and avoid this crowdiness. Going to the mosque, you know, the mosque, it is being said that is even the most dangerous place to share this virus. Why? Because we sujood on this mat, and the next day we change. So the person, when you sujood, your nose is just some millimeter. You know, if you are affected, you are breathing this on it. So that is maybe midday. So evening, another person come, and you are in another place, and this person sujooding at the same place, breathing in, because they are not yet dead. You understand? So we have to divide this piousness and then the security of our people, because even the prophet said that. Many people used to say that too, you know. So if the prophet can say that, when a place is affected, let nobody leave that town and go to another place, and let nobody go inside. These things.
So Alice, you're saying that so our gatherings like churches and masjids, we should
yeah,
suspend that.
yeah. Because that is just because of the security of the people. Because they say the life you save can be also your own. You understand? I've seen even this Musti, I think he came once in the Gambia. This Musti, you know him?
Yes,
Musti?
Muslim yes.
Yeah, okay. Last time he was having here a little bit cold. He's saying he doesn't know whether he's having corona or anything because
Yes.
he traveled. So just for the security of the people, he said he's not going to mosque. And he told them that I'm not coming to mosque. They were asking him why. He said, no, because I cannot come. I don't know what I have. And when I come, I can infect other people. So you cannot say that this man is not pious or something like that, because I know him. He's one of the most known people there. So he's just trying to let the people know that they have to take at this instant or think different. That has nothing to do with the religion, whether somebody believes in God or not, because God said, save yourself, I save you, help yourself, I help you, use your brain. You understand? So to be a fanatic and say you are going to do what you want, I don't think even God can praise you for that, because you are going to give other people disease, and God don't like that. That's why they used to say, when you have something, stay away. And you know, this crowdiness is the danger, because if we leave that, people are going to be sick. As I said, we have less doctors, we have less medicine. So how many people are going to die? Just like Europe here, you know, they are dying like ants, and they are having everything. They have hospitals, they have good doctors, good medicine. You know what I believe sometimes? This corona, I used to tell people, we can only pray that it comes out here. You know, it's good there, that is there, because people can sit home, come back to themselves, try to think better, because the way life was going was just terrible. I know even if I was God, I was going to say to people, what are you doing here? You understand? Because life was very terrible. You only have hatred, cheating, people tell lies, nobody is correct, you know? So this is also, on the other hand, not religious. So let people take care anyway.
Yeah, so Alex, just to emphasize what you just said, I think we have just get something from this imam that
from Musti,
something just from this person here. 1 second. Can you hear this? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see, but we are not hearing.
Not hearing the volume, the
the
audio.
voice, you have to voice.
Can you hear?
No.
Louder. It's not coming though. It's not coming.
Yeah, the audio is not there.
The audio is not there?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. So let me just stop that. So what I was just trying to indicate here is that we have some religious leaders that are not in favor of this lockdown, and I understand why, because of the fact that they said that the dean said you have to have 12 people to pray in the mosque, and for the Juma at least 12. So that's the argument that Backhouse was making. But again, it makes so much sense. Like Alex says, we having to. I didn't ever think about that, like the mat that we put our forehead.
Yeah, it's the most
If
dangerous
somebody
thing.
it's very dangerous, because what happened is, like, if somebody sneeze on that, since this stay on the surface for almost like what hours or days.
It's enough even breathing, because when you breathe or you talk to somebody, that's why people talk about this airborne, because as I talk to you, there are a lot of small particles. I'm spitting you, in fact, if you see it scientifically. I'm spitting on you, on your clothes while I'm discussing with you. You understand?
Yeah, that's
And
a
they are
very
not
good
things you
point.
can
And
see.
yeah, I
Not
never
see.
really, I never, I don't.
I've never thought about that one.
Yes, no, that's a good one. That's actually, I was worried about shaking people's hand and maybe, in the masjid getting, squeezed over there. But
Yeah,
the mat is
I mean,
actually,
even at home, we share our prayer mats.
yeah, yeah, look at that. It's very
Even
dangerous.
at work,
And
we share
now,
our prayer mats. So
and
it's
now
not
you
only
have to be
shaking hands.
careful. Yeah, and
Somebody would
now,
just come with abal masa sajada bi.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
at home, we all
Mm,
do. So I think that is something that we should think about now. That
yeah,
we
yeah,
shouldn't even share not only towels but even our prayer mats.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And the drinking
Can
cup,
I
for
get in
example, the
there too?
drinking cup.
yeah,
Most of the
yeah, yeah.
families.
So, yeah, so who want to come? But I just want to, make that point because that
Yeah,
was one
yes,
of the
Mr.
most
Sisi.
important point that Alex
Sure,
talked about.
sure,
Go ahead.
Yes,
sure.
Mr. Sisi.
Well, thank you, Alex. That was a great one that you just said here, and I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
What we need to look at is, is virus is from a family of microorganisms that cause illnesses to people, and there are four types, that these are bacteria, virus, um, parasites, and fungi. These are four things that are um, things that really microorganisms that really cause people to get sick and can kill people. And unfortunately, coronavirus is just like other viruses. Viruses are always they're all dangerous. They're all bad. However, they all have their symptoms. A lot of symptoms that are alike, and they all have different impacts on people. If you look at coronavirus, it's a deadly virus, just like we said, and it can be spreaded through a lot of different sources. I know people have talked a lot about this, and I've talked a lot about them in my forum as well. But one of the things that I want to say is how do we prevent all of this? Because virus really, microorganisms are things that you can't see unless you use microscope. So virus can come out of people's droplets. So it can go from people to people, and from a contact surface to people, or people to contact surfaces. Anything that we can touch with our hands as well. And just to go straight to what Alex said, the praying mats. Yes, the praying mats are things that, of course, in the mosque will be can be contaminated if someone has the virus and prays on that mat and sneeze or cough or even breathe around that area, can happen. However, just like Tuma was saying, even at home, it can happen. But what do? We need to disinfect, use disinfectants. Even if people want to go to the mosque, I'm not saying or they should open the mosque.
Trust me,
People have different.
I'm gonna disinfect
Yeah,
all my
yeah,
mats right
disinfectant.
now.
Yeah, disinfectant is what we need to use.
If you are
That
using
is
it
the
for
solution
yourself,
for
you don't
this.
need it. You don't
If
need
you
it.
have disinfectant sprays and we spray them, we should be okay. Those will kill bacteria and virus. For people in Gambia, I always like to think about people in Gambia. We in America here, we have a lot of um, opportunities and resources and all kinds of things that we can use, all those people abroad, overseas. But people in Gambia, what can they use? Last week I said something about this. They can use bleach, because we all know Gambians have bleach. You can take bleach directly on certain surfaces, of course, will kill the virus within 30 seconds. Can kill the virus anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. However, and of course we all know you cannot pour bleach on certain things because it will destroy them, because it's very strong and powerful. So what needs to happen in Gambia for them to disinfect things is to take 5 tablespoons of bleach, okay, 5 tablespoons of bleach, and mix it with a gallon of water. If you mix that with a gallon of water, now you diluted the bleach to a point, to a certain concentration, where they can use it and put cloth in there and disinfect everything in the house. You can wipe your counters with it. You can wipe your door handles with it, remote controls, your cell phones, everything that we touch by hand. we can use that to be able to disinfect at home. You know, even your car keys, things that we don't think of. Your car keys, you touch a remote control, anything on your hand will be on that remote control. If we don't frequently disinfect things like that, that everybody touches, can really cause problems, only especially if someone in the house has the infection or has the virus. Let's pray to God that the virus doesn't come to our houses, and the virus will not come to people's house if people really stay home and don't go somewhere else and don't allow anybody else to come to your house. And that's going to be very difficult in Gambia. We understand that it's going to be difficult but you know what the government announced for people to stay home is a great idea. I mean, that's all over in America here. People stay home unless you're an essential worker that needs to go out. So you know, like I said, there's a lot of things that I said about virus, but simple things we can do at home is to really disinfect our homes, disinfect our houses, wash our hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, or sing our happy birthday song twice. That will be about 20 seconds. And yep, that will be about 20 seconds. Also, just like Alex said, people use their own towel. In food safety, we'll call it single-use towel. Single-use towel is a towel that you can use, and when you're done, you get rid of it. If it's paper towel, that'd be great. Paper towel would be awesome. If not, right. If not, it should be a single-use towel just for one person to wipe their hands on that. But in Gambia, we know that that's almost impossible to have a towel for every single person. So best thing would be paper towel. You know, use paper towel, you wash your hands, tissue. Paper towels, you use your wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. When you're done, you cut one sleeve of paper towel, wipe your hand with it, dry your hand with that, and use that same paper towel to close the top of the faucet of the pump, you know, the water supply. That way you're not retouching it. Because once you use your hand, the goal is don't touch anything else. Don't shake anybody's hand. Don't touch anything else that may contaminate your hand, especially when it's time to go meet other people or when it's time to eat. Because if you contaminate the food that you're going to eat with your hand, guess what? It's going into your stomach and you will get sick. So using those, and also in public places, use the same paper towel after you shut the faucet off, to open the door with that, and then walk out with it and put that paper towel in the first available trash that you see. So hand contamination is very, very critical, because we use our hands for a lot of things, and everybody touches their face with their hands. So if you can keep yeah, exactly. So if we can keep our hands clean, it will help us a lot. And part of that, that is also, again, we need to avoid shaking hands. I know it's common in Gambia. We do that everywhere. Those are things that we need to avoid completely. If for some reason you meet someone that wants to shake your hand and you can't say, no, I won't shake your hand, shake their hand. If you shake their hands, you just have to remember, do not touch your face.
But I will not say,
and go wash your hands. You
no,
should not. Nobody should shake people's hands now at this
even,
point.
Even your mother,
yeah.
Today, if you ask me, I used to say that, people, look, even if my father was leaving now and someone want to visit me, I say, stay away.
Stay away.
Not that I don't want to see him, but I'm protecting him and myself too.
Yep, exactly.
Because especially old people, they are very endangered. I mean, with this virus.
Yep,
so
and
it's just a matter of responsibility, and people put that in their head. Has nothing to do with politics or disrespectfulness or unreligious, You have to understand that it's the situation.
In food safety and sanitation, one of the things that we say is the population at high risk. Who are the population of high risk? There are three groups of people that are in the population of high risk. One is the elderly people, just like senior citizens. That guy from that imam or whoever, the preacher from Bangladesh, he was 70 years old. He is part of that population at high risk, because as people grow older, your immune system also weakens with your age. So as a result, it cannot fight against any disease or most diseases. So that's one group. The second group of people at high risk is the children. Children, young kids, have not developed enough and strong immune system to fight against disease, so they get sick very easily. We need to protect them as well, to make sure that they wash their hands frequently, don't let them out, stay home all the time. It's very important we do that. And then the third group of people are people with compromised immune system. When I say compromised immune system, people that are sick, have heart diseases, lung disease, or cancer, or diabetes, or all people with some kind of illness that causes them to take very strong medications. Those medications impact their immune system as well. So they are considered population at high risk. That's why it's very important. If you go to people at the hospital, they are there for a reason. Their immune systems will be compromised. So they need to be very well protected, very well protected, so that this disease does not transmit to them. The rest of the people, again, even though we all know this coronavirus can affect anybody. It doesn't matter, young, old, man, woman, it doesn't matter, anybody. But the population at high risk are more vulnerable than anybody else. Some people can fight it on their own and it'll be okay. Population at high risk may not be able to handle that. And this is where they can die. This is how they can die easily from people. So with that said, I know time is gone. I can say a lot about this. Since I'm a food safety professional in America here. So,
but you have mentioned something very important, and again, the takeaway from your statements are hand washing. As you stated, there are some, there are some what do you call it, videos out there that shows that when you touch somebody's hand, that thing spreads like crazy. And but people don't understand how it even transmit. Look at this video that I'm showing you here. 1 second. I'm just gonna. You don't need to get the sound of it. I just want you guys to see this. I'm gonna start it over. Tell me if you understand it or not, okay? Look at that. Did you see that?
Yep. Yeah. These are natural things. Yeah.
So you see?
Yep.
Do you see it? Do you see it?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay. This is how, just by handshake, this other person has it.
Yep.
You see that he's touching handrail?
Yep.
See the lady?
Yep. When you come and place your hand there.
So you see, you touch the elevator with it.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yep. See, that's why I said, well, when you after washing your hands, use a paper towel and then close that knob, that faucet with the paper towel. Don't even touch it with your hand again, because you never know what's on it.
This man is
this man is transmitting everybody. Even the kid has it now.
That's it. So we people have to change the life we live in the whole time. That's why I say that. I know that it's
so everybody. Oh, the prayer mat. Look at the prayer mat.
The prayer mat there.
And I just talk about it. So if you have some fanatics in
so this lady come and pray on it. She got it.
So that is not fair. You understand?
Yep.
That's why.
So that's why this is not a joke.
Yeah.
We all have to
try. People need to understand it. People need to understand it. This has nothing to do with religion. Or politics.
So I'm just gonna stop the video here.
Yes.
I'm just gonna stop the video here just to show the people about it.
It's very good. It's very good. So that people can see how this thing, here every time when you hear 200, the next day you hear 5. 3 days you hear thousands, just because of these kind of ways of spreading. So in Gambia, we live like this. It's very nice. We are very social people, and we have a very life that we are always together. So now, because of the corona, we have to think everything. You understand? We have to people to understand and stay away from it or things like that. It's just to save our lives.
So that being said, I'm gonna allow my sister Tuma. Jai. Banjul MP.
Now the
Banjul South. So
she's
she's in Gambia, and then she actually, have some knowledge about this. Madam.
When you say knowledge, I always deny that because I am not a medical professional. So to say that I have a knowledge would be a wrong impression.
Some knowledge
because
then.
what we can do What we do, we follow WHO advice
Yep.
and try to communicate to our people so that they can understand. If you followed me on my Facebook page on the 19th, I had some sensitization at the market, at the Banjul market, and then we went to the ferry terminal, and then I placed a wash hand station at the clinic in at Lehman Street, which happens to be in my constituency. But what I've been advocating, really, people have been issuing wash hand stations. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we're hearing you. Yes.
People have been issuing on, and they've been asking me why I've not been giving it to the people in my constituency. Because for me, I feel that we
Close the
should
door.
stay at home. I feel that staying at home is a far better precaution. And when we are at home, we can wash our hands at home. We don't need to go out to be washing it in wash hand stations, because that is exposing us to whoever is outside. They might have it. And I think the best precaution is to stay at home. And if we are to go home, if we are to go out, probably to get some essentials, like go to the market, that was why I thought it would be necessary to place them at the entrance and the exit of the markets, where people would unavoidably go to feed themselves. So my strategy in fighting this as the representation of the people is to ensure that the needy would have food. Because we're all talking about, you people in Europe, when you go to your supermarkets, they are all empty. The shelves are empty. And for some of us in Gambia, we can't afford to shop for even 3 or 4 days. We can't even afford to shop for like 2 days, some of us. So my drive is to ensure that we supply food to those needy people so that they can stay at home, prevent them from going out. Because without food at home, obviously everybody would want to go out to look for it. So that is one thing that we are trying to do, and that is the reason why I was discouraging those wash hand stations. I bought few, which we took to places that people would go unavoidably, like the market, the clinics, and the ferry terminals, which I also think that traveling should be reduced. But like we said, if somebody is sick from Barra, there are no hospitals. They would have to cross and come to Banjul. So those things are unavoidable, and we must think about them as well. And also, my concern is the prisons, because we all know that they have more than capacity. They are full, and we should try and decongest. So I don't know what the government is doing about it, but they should think of at least releasing some prisoners who are not going to be threat to the public. Of course, most of our prisoners have not done something that will be threat. Most of them are even there still, whose case have still not been heard. So I think we should think of all those things, because it's not about shaking hands, not shaking hands. It's not about washing our hands. It's about taking more precautions. Like the video you just said, the other colleague just mentioned prayer mats, which never even crossed my mind, which now we should also start thinking of. But when we talk about the coronavirus and how to take precautions as a layperson, it's not about the medical side, because I can't advise anybody on that without following the WHO. But my advice is to just stay at home. And how do we help them stay at home? To make sure they have the needs that will keep them at home. And one of them is food. And so far, we've done some distributions, of course, and some people, like even today, I had 2 people, one from Senegal, one from UK, who sent their donations. And that will take us far, because nothing is small, because even a bag of 25 kilo rice would at least take a family for more than 3-4 days. And if you are just a family of 3, it can take you for like 5-6 days or even more, depending on how you use it. So I think those are the things that we should talk about now. We should not just be stocking up for ourselves and for our families. We should start thinking about other people as well, because this is a pandemic. If you are well, somebody is not well, and they are close to you, it might come to you as well. So we should think of us and think of others to protect ourselves and protect others. And like I said, give them food to stay at home. My drive is to ensure that people stay at home.
Okay.
And we should also think of one thing also, I've seen people going out sensitizing. It is good, but let us not be packed together in places. Let us look at the people better equipped to do the sensitization. We have the Red Cross. I've always been advocating, make use of them. They've been trained for this. They are trained for this type of crisis. That is their job. I cannot go out because I need to protect myself and protect other people. I wouldn't know how to protect them in any case. So give it to the people who are well equipped to do that. I think that is my take in this.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tumanjai, Banjul South MP. Now you've mentioned something here that strikes me, and I'm pretty sure my the audience as well. I mean the panelists. You've mentioned something, two things. One, to give food to people. I'm gonna share you with this. I like to share things. I don't know if you guys mind or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this thing here. Okay. This is the president of right. This is the president of how do I minimize this? I hope you are seeing my screen.
Yeah, yeah, yes, you
Okay. So just for our viewers to see, I'm gonna share this part of it. My screen. You can see my screen?
yeah.
Not yet.
No, your screen. We are
Okay.
seeing you, but not your screen.
Okay. You
now,
can see it now, right?
Yeah.
This is the president of
yeah.
Rwanda, Paul, and he is what he's doing is he is distributing rice,
Yeah.
and he is in the front of this. Say Rwanda, the heart of African post. So what they're doing is they want everybody to stay home, but they make sure that everybody get food in their homes. So this 500 millions that borough government has allocated for this, and other things that the World Bank is giving. Why can't we use those money and put the restriction on people staying home and giving them food? Because before you talk about treating people, you have to cut the spread.
Yeah.
The reason why they say social distancing, the reason why they beat people on the street like this one, is to make sure that nobody goes out.
Yeah.
So
But
if we can minimize people going out, then there is a reason that this thing will not even spread. We don't have to use all that 50 million. Does that make sense to you guys?
yeah,
Absolutely. And I want to
wanted
say
to
something
say,
about this.
And
okay.
then I know some people would think that this one that I'm gonna show you, some people might think this one is also maybe abusive or so. I don't like to be a dictator, but sometimes I feel like we should do something. We should be certain cases we should be a dictator. You know why? Because if the profit, if the return is better, like what applying that dictatorship, the return will be better for the citizens, then it's better to be a dictator in that sense. I don't know if you understand what I said.
Yep. You're
I'm gonna
talking about the risk versus the reward.
the risk versus the reward. I'm gonna show you some. I'm gonna share something with you right now. What Kenya is doing, and Kenyans did this. Some people don't like it, but I like it. They went out and they beating people.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
enforcing it.
Like in India too.
Look at this, how
I
many
don't
people
think
mingling together. You want to tell me that if this, this coronavirus will not get spread,
Yeah,
how can you take care of this coronavirus if you have this number of people outside?
yeah.
Impossible.
I mean,
That's the other danger.
Yep.
That's why
I
you say
think
people should stay home. These
so
congestions, whether it's demonstration or
I think
rally or I
I
don't
think
know,
our government,
people have to
when
be careful.
we are a democratic state, I don't want to I don't want to say that we should be abused, but I think at this point, the nature of this sickness and the way it transmits, I think our government should take take it upon themselves and take people out of the street. What do you guys
I
think?
don't
Yep.
for me personally, I don't think it should resort to this, because I think it's just the awareness sensitizing people.
Yep.
I think it took us too late to
Yep.
start talking about it. For
Exactly.
example, in Sierra Leone now, they've not recorded any case, but they've taken so many measures. They've taken precautions. They are far ahead of us. They've not waited to record a case. This thing has been going on for 120 something days now. It would have taken us that far to start talking about it.
Only,
For
Yep.
example,
only
last
we
week
in Facebook.
at the parliament, we had to push to get the health minister to come. And he's been doing a great job behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But doing it behind the scenes is not good enough. They should be telling people so that people will be aware. Because to be honest with you, he is way ahead.
Why
what we do.
is it that President Barrow is not on the front line on this?
So
Being that
President Barrow, like I said, is not a medical
yes.
professional. If I expect President Barrow to come out and advise us medically, I would also expect myself to do so, which I am not capable of doing. And I think that the health department, they are really doing what is expected of them. They've been giving us briefs like frequently. I know it's late, but it is better late than never.
Yep.
If you look at our sitting on that Monday, was it the 16th, when the Minister of Finance gave us a brief on the financial aspects, I personally stood up and I said, this is not the time for finances. Yes, it is key, but we need to know the medical aspects of it first before we can assess the financial implications. You cannot say, I am giving $10 for something that you don't know what is going to kill. If we need $50 and you give us 10, what if we need $2 and you give us 10? It is the same. It doesn't matter whether it's too much or little. What we need to know is how prepared are we? How are we going to deal with it? Because we all know that in Gambia, we don't have medical facilities. In as much as we have good doctors, in as much as they are educated, they know what they are doing. It is the equipment that matters medically. You cannot just sit, I tell you what I feel, and you give me, and then you just tell me what is wrong with me without having used proper equipment to physically screen, do some proper checks with equipment. And that is what we lack. So the problem for us is to be aware and to be cautious. Precautionary measures, that is what I've been emphasizing since. Precaution. Because for the cure bit, we cannot do unless we have some help. And we all know now, God for everybody, man for himself. Everybody is taking care of their own citizens.
Yep.
If we depend on EU has bigger problems than us. Look at what is happening in Italy. If we think of Senegal, if we see the way European Union is helping Senegal, it's amazing. Even though they have their own problems, they still know. If you know what Senegal is doing, I mean, it's really amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
They have set up so many things to have this. Yes, they have more cases than us, and I pray that for us it stops here.
They are even working
because
on something.
If it goes beyond, then we are doomed.
Even the Senegalese, they're
Let us
working
just
on
pray
something.
and take precaution. For me, I am begging everybody to stay at home. And for the few that are privileged to help other people, come out. Don't leave it until Ramadan to give them sugar when they are nearly dead. Let us come out and feed them now when it is needed. Because it is needed now.
Yep, you are
that's a good
completely
Go ahead.
right.
Go ahead. Go ahead, for Sam.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to say, Honorable Tuma, thank you for what you said. I totally agree with you 100, and I couldn't agree more with you when it comes to precautions, because I remember back, I went back and looked at some audios that I released, and on February 19th, I said that what the government should do really is to really send medical personnel to our airport in the borders, but to the airport, work with airport authorities, get manifest for every flight that's coming, because at that time it was in China. We didn't hear about it in different places. It was in China. So I said, if they could go to the airport and see the manifest for all the flights coming in, see who came from China, who has transited through China, or who has any contact with anybody that transited or came from China, and be able to identify them on the manifest and highlight those names and those people, or anybody from any country that the virus was at that point, because at that point it was not in Gambia. This was back in February. What I suggested was the government to have that medical personnel at the airport with their equipment, with their PPE, personal protective equipment, but also we have things like thermometers that they can check people's temperature, be able to look for all these symptoms and people that were highlighted on that list. That way they will have that list by the immigration desk. So as people come through immigration sees that, yep, this person originated from China or has something with China, be able to get the medical personnel that are already on standby, and those people should be able to pull that person aside and go do a further screening on them, check their thermometer, and use the thermometers to check their temperature, look for all the symptoms to make sure that no one enters our country with any symptoms of this coronavirus. If they had started at that point, this was back in February when I said this, but our ministry, health department, our Ministry of Health should have thought about this and try to close the loopholes before they even enter, because prevention is better than cure, as we all know. If they had gone to the airport and did that, then these 3 people that entered our country in March would not have
To be
happened,
honest,
and Gambia would have still
I
straight.
came from Dakar on the 4th of March, and I was
Okay.
screened. If you look at my Facebook page, to be honest with you, we were screened temperature, but they only took our temperature, and that was since the 4th of March. But then again, you can be, it's I don't know how you say it in, is it a symphony, whatever? It doesn't show the symptoms. Yeah.
Okay.
It can be in you for 14 days. I was screened on the 4th of March coming from Dakar. And again, I was again screened on the 13th of March coming from Niger. So for the side of the health department, I think they've been doing their job. But again, it's the sensitization. They have done so much underneath, but not telling us what they were doing. And for me, that is where the but is. If you are doing something there without the population knowing, because this is for us to know, you are doing it for us. Tell us what you are doing. And then we can take the precaution, because we are not, for us Gambians, we are afraid of death. We don't want to die.
Everybody is, but
if we had known the importance, the significance, the importance of taking precautions, if you go to the streets now, you wouldn't see anybody.
And the other part I said was they needed to put this on national television and radio station every day, every day, and sensitize people. That will make people be more.
But for us in Gambia, it takes somebody to tick you. It takes somebody to walk you before you start talking. To be honest with you, since I came out with my issue, that was when the Ministry of Health started coming out talking, giving us more information.
They should have done that a long time ago.
They should have done that a long time ago.
Yes, that's what they
should have done. They've done so much. Not that they've not been doing, they've not been talking to us, but honestly, they've been doing it. But they've not been informing people, and that is the missing link.
Tuma, Honorable, I just wanna weigh into that. I think when this thing whole started, our beliefs, and this is why sometimes we shoot ourselves on the foot. I've been speaking to people in the Gambia, and they say, "Oh, this is not our disease. This is a white man disease." Okay?
When I stopped sending my kids to school, I was in Niger. I came back on the 13th. I went to the school on the 15th of March. That was before government closed. I told the head teacher, I said, if my government is not taking responsibility, I will take responsibility of my kids. So I'm taking permission for them. They are not coming back. And they've been at home for over 2 weeks. They go up in the terrace to take some sun. They've not gone out. My mates, the person that stays here, stays here. The person that comes and goes, stays at home. I take care of myself and my kids. We keep safe.
It's just responsibility.
So
But
what I'm saying also, our beliefs actually hurts us, because some people are saying that this is not, you know, a Muslim thing. This is not, you know, like God, you know,
you know, Mamadou, we all breathe the same air.
Yep.
We all drink the same water.
Absolutely.
Blood runs from all of us. So this earth belongs to all of us equally. Maybe some might be rich, some might be poor, some might be white, some might be black, some might be Muslim, some might be Jewish, some might be Christian. But in the eyes of the Almighty, we are human beings.
Everybody
and
is
death
equal.
doesn't pass anybody. So for me,
but you see, this corona is showing you that everybody is equal, because it attacks the prominence
when
and
it comes
attacks the
to death,
poorest
everybody
person.
is. Everybody
there is no
dies.
exception.
Exactly.
No exception.
If you are hungry, you have to eat. I don't say that I'm a Muslim. When I'm hungry, I open my arms to Allah and He feeds me. He gives us the means to feed ourselves. So likewise, He gives us the brain to protect ourselves.
So what do you think? What do you think about the funding aspect of this? Because I'm a person who is always concerned about money and where money goes. The government, the president is giving 5 million. I mean, the Gambian government. That's a lot of money. That's like $10,000. $500
million. 500. Yeah. Who? For me, these are
and Honorable, since you are a parliament member, I just want to jump in here first. I just want to jump in here first, since you are a parliamentarian.
We don't have a welfare state. No, listen. We don't have a welfare state. But for me, this calls for a welfare system. Because they know Gambia is poor. Some Gambians are poor. The government should come out and make sure, even if they are not giving it directly, they should subsidize certain things. For example, if rice was 100, they should make sure that they freeze all taxes. At least rice should be reduced for now, even if it's going down for 600, so that some people can afford it. But as we are now, the rich will continue being rich. Honestly, this morning, I've not gone out of my room since Monday. This morning, around 10 o'clock, I went to Karaba. Things that were costing $50 are now $79. I said I wasn't going to say it, but I have to mention it. And it's wrong. I had to call the Ministry of Trade and ask them to go and visit them, because there was a government release. They should be fined. If not, they should be closed. They shouldn't rip off people because there is a crisis. It is wrong.
I know. We used to get the information.
Yeah.
And I know the ministry will take care of it, because the person I spoke with promised me that they will. And I trusted him that he will do it.
Okay, so now what I'm saying is, what is the parliament doing? Having this 5 million blank check, and this is different from what the World Bank and other organizations would donate the Gambian government. What is the parliament doing to make sure that this money goes to the right place and they are all accounted for? Because we need to have check and balance, and then the parliament cannot.
We need to have check and balance, Mamadou. But there's this aspect called decentralized services in the budget. And I've always been crying out for this. It shouldn't be the case. It is, I think, 1.7 billion. And it is not specific how the government can use it. And for me, everybody knows me in speaking my mind. And that is how and where they will rip off this country. In as much as I am part of this government, in as much I will support this government, I will not sit and watch poor people dying. I will not sit and watch government officials enrich themselves at the expense of the poor. And I will always question it. That was wrong to have. That decentralized services, that was a blank check given to the government. For me...
So can you guys change that?
The budget has been passed. It is law. But like I always say, we are in a state of emergency. It is not business as usual. I would appeal to the Minister of Finance to resubmit the budget to have it reappropriated for us to do the right thing to the population, for the population, so that everybody will have their fair share of the cake that we should share.
Now,
Our national cake. Now is the time.
Yeah,
now
can you
is
just
the time. Now is the time. Now is the time for
can
the
you
government
just
to stand up and say, "I am for the poor."
this
And if they do that,
decentralized fund or whatever you're talking about, can you just explain it? Because some of us don't know the terms actually. We're still learning.
no, it is just in the budget, and it is just there with only a figure. I can send you the budget if you want. It is just there, and probably because since there hasn't been any presentation for approval, it must have been taken from that part of the budget. So for that case, Parliament can basically do nothing. But then it is our obligation to ensure that every bit of that money is accounted for. And if we fail to do that, then we would have failed you as Gambians.
So are you going to be making sure that that's accounted for?
Of course it will be. I am a member of the Public Accounts Committee, and it is our duty to do that. And
Excellent.
we have able members in that committee. Be rest assured that members of that committee are quite competent to be able to follow every dime, every butut, because it will be accounted for.
There is not, before
That's
there's no
good.
control.
Go ahead, Pa.
To be honest with you, this parliament is a parliament with difference. In as much as people would say we always hold the government.
No, I definitely like this parliament.
If you look at the budget process, it has never happened the way it happened. So for that, yeah.
Well,
my concern now is to make sure that people have food on their table. That keeps me from sleeping at night. Because somebody like me, I've never gone to bed hungry. I wouldn't want to see any child go to bed hungry. That is the thing of, and this is the time that my government should come out and beat their chest and say, I am going to feed the poor. If this happens, I can kill myself for this government.
Honorable, can I jump in here real quick, because you're talking about something very important, and I want to say something about that too. Feeding people is very important, and in fact, there are certain things that need to be in certain order. When the government decides to shut down certain things and also ask people to stay home, all of those can happen, just like everybody else is doing. But Gambia being Gambia, a very poor country, people don't have anything. We can't shut down our markets and tell people they can't go to the market when people really go to buy what they need on daily basis, because we don't have the infrastructure to have electricity and water supply every day, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, for people to be able to go do grocery just like here and put in your refrigerator and freeze them for a whole week and don't have to go out. Gambia is in a different ballgame. I think what should have happened is that Gambia, especially we're talking about this $500 million. This $500 million should have been really used to help, to help Gambia. Gambians, poor people, buy them food and distribute the food to all the people first. You got to feed people before you tell them to sit at home. Just like even a dog. If you want a dog to stay in one place, give them a bone. Let them eat that bone and enjoy that bone. So they will stay.
That's why US is giving a stimulus package.
That's why US giving a stimulus package. And if you look at that, $1,200 for a single person, which is about $58,000 in Gambia. For couples is $2,400 That's about 117 or 100, close to $120,000 in Gambia. So Gambia government is not doing that. If we're not doing that, we need to do that by providing the food to people first, give them rice, give them oil, give them food, and then tell them to stay home. I think that's the way it needs to be.
Even those vendors at the market.
Yep.
They buy their stuff daily.
Exactly.
I'm very close to people at the markets because Banjul Market is part of my constituency, and I go there like every week. So I'm very close to them. And they go to Brikama, some of these ladies, to buy their stuff daily, to come and sell. So those people, it's not only people at home going to buy from the market. We should also think of those people selling at the markets. How are they going to stop? How are they going to help them at least also? Because it's not only the people going to buy, it's only the people also selling. So I think we need to sit as a country, as decision makers, and really see. This is not, I think these are lessons that we should learn now and see how we can overcome this. Because if we come out of this strong, honestly speaking, in the next 20 years, we are going to make it as a country. And this is the time to start taking decisions. Because war is showing us that everybody needs to be self-sufficient now. We need to be, we can't depend on food coming from China, on food coming from Germany, on people in Germany sending us some remittances. We should start thinking of how, as a government, to empower our people to be able to take care of themselves in the country.
Why not? Why not we start from the National Assembly, where we can empower agriculture, and then making sure that everybody return back to agriculture. I mean,
if you look at that, I think the National Assembly have started doing that. If you look at the budget this year, agriculture and health, and I think with the little that the National Assembly has done for health this year, that is why at least we can even hold forward to do something about this. And they've started doing a lot for agriculture as well. And to be honest with you, I would say that the agriculture minister also is very dynamic, and she is doing a lot. But like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. This will be an eye-opener for us, so that when it comes next time, we will think of so many things other than traveling, other than per diem. We will think of what stays in this country to build our next generation. I think this is a good eye-opener.
Are your people considering salary cuts in order to help in this crisis?
If you are thinking of helping people and you're thinking of salary cuts, we can cut other things other than salary, I think. Because I'm not sure about other people, but for National Assembly members, our salaries, we don't take home. We give it back to the community, for example. Everything I do is from my salary and my own personal resources. Because it is only in Gambia that the National Assembly member does not have a development fund to take back to their constituency. And with that, you cannot expect your constituency to hold you accountable. All you can do is make laws and make sure that you have proper oversight to ensure that what this government has is being properly executed. And the funds that we channel are being channeled to the right, places. That is all we do, but they cannot hold us directly responsible for not having developed our constituencies. If you go to Nigeria, for example, a National Assembly member will be in charge of projects in their communities, in their constituencies. But for that, we can't do. And I think that should have been something. If that was the case, somebody like me, I have the Bandiman Street Clinic. If those things were in our hands, they would have been properly equipped to even fight for having testing equipment there for now, because we are in a state of emergency, so that it will take care of the people in my constituency. But that is not how the National Assembly is run. People like you outside the country, in the West, you know how powerful MPs are. They are more powerful than even the executive, because the executive are appointed. They do not represent the people. But for me, I have my constituency. And I have to be answerable to them.
There, I have a question. I mean, there is a problem, and you said it, and we know it. So what can you then do as the parliament say? Because they are the lawmakers. Can't you not try and make a bill extra for that? Can you not change the situation now?
What we can do
collectively to make a bill,
what we can do
about this problem.
The thing is, Parliament is not autonomous. we also depend on the executive, even for our salaries. What we can do, the budget is a bill. If it's not passed by parliament, it cannot be a law.
Yeah.
So parliament, the budget is just like you bring something, it's an invitation to offer. If the executive brings a budget, it is up to the parliament to totally change it in its entirety. And that is where we come in as parliamentarians. If we are well equipped to do our job properly, but they cannot give you 10 days to do all that. We are not all financially, exposed in finance to be able to do it. In other parliaments, they have parliamentary aides who can help them in legal drafting, who can help them in budgeting, but we don't have that. We depend on our own. Somebody like me, I'm not a finance professional. I can't say it because I don't have my ACCA. Yes, I might have my MBA and I would have done finance as a subject. That I cannot call myself a professional. I can just do as little as I can do.
In other countries, the government will give you a special person.
So now, Tuma, Honorable, is there a way of having some kind of like education forums or training for parliamentarians, so that you guys are very powerful people, and I believe still now the parliament, they are some, I'm not saying all, some still don't understand the power that they have, or the parliament itself is not well schooled. The reason why I said this is like,
what I
mean is like,
even for myself, with my
exposure
and everything, I still don't know the powers that I have. I'm not speaking for others, I'm speaking for myself. Because if I knew the powers that I have,
you are very
I wouldn't wait for the executive to do certain things. But like you said, I think one of you said it, that parliament is the majority that counts. You can have the best ideas, but if it's not supported by the majority, it's not gonna go. So that is also one thing. And most of the time, it's politics that is played in parliament.
Right, but that's why I'm saying, when we have enough training, like when we have outside training, let's say, and taking models from countries that are that have been successful in having the democratic system that we're questioning for. I think one of the achievements we would have made is that these parliamentarians will be well equipped to make argument and to do their homework before coming to the National Assembly in the interest of the nation.
If I tell you the number of trainings that my speaker have been able to negotiate with other countries for parliamentarians, I don't think any other parliament have been given that exposure. We've had so many trainings. For me personally, I attended one seminar in UK and then another training at The Hague for the Human Rights Committee. So, and then I don't know what others have attended, but I know that we've been exposed to so many trainings, not alone the ones that we've had locally.
That's very good.
Westminster Foundation, the IRI, the National Democratic, the American Embassy, the British, they've all given us that sort of training. But the thing is, like I said, is that we cannot do it all. We can't. We need, in every parliament you go to in this world, each parliamentarian would have at least 2 staff.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, especially in the financial sector, because we cannot know everything, So you must have a support, whether it's somebody writing for you because you hardly get the time for it, because you go attending meetings and so, and somebody an accountant for it, who is going to take care of this finance.
Are you guys having enough masks and gloves and stuff for our first responders, because they are putting their life on the line, and I haven't been seeing the government or any of the folks talking about it. Here we have in Italy about 50 doctors died, I believe, first responders, these people need gowns. They need to be prepared. They need to have their mask ready. Do you guys have even what do you call it? A ventilator. I mean, like
It's
what do
PPE. It's overall it's called PPE, personal
PP
protective equipment.
equipments? Do you
Yeah.
have things, like when people are not breathing, you can help them with breathing
With
this thing,
ventilators and stuff.
ventilators. Yeah. Do you have enough in stock, or
Yes,
you?
when we started, I told you that I am not a medical professional and I wouldn't
Mhm.
want to expose myself even to go to the hospital, because there are professionals that will do that. And
Yeah.
if you listen to the briefings of the of the public health officers, I think they are well prepared. But even in Europe, you cannot have enough. This is a pandemic.
It's not enough
Yeah.
because the people are
Can
killing.
never be enough.
Look at France. We are helping them because their hospitals are full. So we are holding some from there who are having
But
critical
but we've
situations.
no I've also heard that China has sent some supplies
They
to.
came, they came yesterday, so we need
Yesterday.
to wait for the ministry to make a report before we can mention that, because as of now, we only know that they are here. They need to confirm what was sent, because it's all speculation that this and this and this was sent. We need to wait for a formal report by the Ministry of Health that this and this and this is what we have received. Because me personally, I don't base my things on speculation. I would rather wait for them. And if it's not forthcoming, we can ask them to give us a briefing. But until then, I cannot say what we've received.
So
It's only
in addition to that, if somebody, an independent donor, wants to donate, is there a place and something that you can share? And is there a way also to track whether those things, donations, either in mask, in funds, in ventilators, whatever, those things will go to the right places, will be accountable?
Of course, if anything is given to the health unit, to the health department, they will be taken to the right place, because they are ensuring that people are taken care of, and they've been quite active in doing all that. I'm
And
not
then,
saying that some people, because I cannot accuse them of diverting if I have not seen them doing it. But be rest assured that if you can have contacts that would donate to this country, it would be useful. We have 2 million people here, and we are in need, just like everybody is. And I am sure that with their professionalism, even though I have incident, but for example, I will even name Dr. Bitte. My incident with him, when I told him about visit her and made sure that she was okay. So I believe that they will be doing that to everybody else. And if things are given, they would use it in the right manner.
and then Red Cross is something that you recommend, or where do you recommend for sources to be sent?
I would recommend to contact the ministry direct, because they are in charge.
Okay. And then you will be able to share their information, correct?
Yeah, I would be able to.
Okay. Because this
We
the reason why
also
I'm
have
asking I'm
a health
asking this, because
committee
some people
that
have
works
contacted me
closely.
about possibly donating some things. So we just want to make sure
Mhm.
that it goes through the right channel.
I would recommend it goes to the ministry, because they cover the whole country. If you give it to me, for example, I will give it to Banjul South. How are we going to use it? We are not doctors. We are not medical professionals. I'm a politician. I want to be fair to everybody. The ministry is for the whole of the country.
Okay. Samate and his folks, right? So how do you
Exactly, yeah.
assess his
I
work?
can
People
share
have
their
been people
contacts
have
and
been
I can give them your contacts as well.
Yes, definitely. That would be good. People have been I've seen in Facebook, some people have been critical about Samate. What is your take on that?
For me, I do my oversight functions. If they do well, I say it. If they're short of it, I will also say it. But so far, I cannot say that they are not doing what they should be doing under the circumstances. I think out of 10, I will give them 7 for the little that we have.
And then some people are saying that also they're not having support from the other government personnels.
I can't say that because I am not part of that. I am
Okay.
not part of the executive, and when they hold their meetings, I am not available. I am not there to know what and what not
And
what's not happening.
some people are expecting the president to come at least once a while to give a press conference or briefing. Is that something that the parliament will, if it is not in our constitution, is that something that the parliament will try to enforce? Because we want our leaders to directly communicate with us.
I know it's reassuring. It's reassuring for me because when I saw him those 2 times, I felt reassured. So in times like this, we would need to see the people that we elected, the people that we entrusted to come out and talk to us.
More frequently, not only one time. Okay. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
wouldn't say frequently, but when it is necessary, when the need arises. And I think coming out once a week or one his face for nothing.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. Go
I
ahead, guys.
think what really, I think what really needs to happen is the medical personnel, the medical team need to be sensitizing people on daily basis on television and radio stations on daily basis. Once they do that part, the president should come out. It doesn't have to be every week, but at least, just like you said, once a while, maybe if it's every other week, but
also,
when necessary to come out, instead of people saying and speculating or asking when is the president coming out, because they're seeing the world leaders in all countries. A lot of countries are, the presidents are out almost every other day. They're out there saying something. There's press conference going on. Even though Gambia is not at that level, we don't have the severity of this coronavirus as what is in America here.
We don't know because we don't have testings.
We don't have testings. We don't know. So the good thing is asking people to stay home. Yes, we don't know.
Because taking the temperature alone is not qualified somebody. I've seen people who don't have temperature. They are COVID-19.
Oh yeah. There are different symptoms. So this is going to take me, because this is one thing I've been holding, is this is going to take me to a next topic here, because I think it's very important that people, and that's part of your topics here, people in quarantine. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about that, because we don't, just like you said, we don't know who has it and who doesn't. It's very important that people that were put in quarantine first, they need to be taken care of. These people need to be treated just like VIPs. Put them in a very nice hotel, very good place with all the amenities, provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner, even coffee and tea. Get them everything they need if you want them to stay at one place.
Yeah, why not use some of that 50 million into that?
Exactly. You can't dump people somewhere just like prisoners and sit there and nobody takes care of them, nobody check on them, nobody does anything. Or I'm not saying that's not happening, but there are certain things that they are lacking. You cannot put human beings in a place and first the place is not being cleaned or is not clean. They're not getting their basic fundamental needs on a daily basis. That's not going to happen. They're going to walk out and go. And you also need to provide security to secure them so that nobody goes to visit them, because they're in quarantine. We don't know whether they have it or not, whether they have symptoms or not, but they are in quarantine. So one, provides security, nobody visits them, but at the same time, they cannot also escape and go home. Because when they go home, here's where the risk comes in. You don't know what they have. They go home, they're going to visit their family. Of course, they're going home. Number one, they're putting their own family at risk. And number two, they can spread it out to other people. So I think it's very important that anybody or the people that we're putting in quarantine to be well taken care of, just like VIPs. Take good care of them. You got to take care of them. You cannot just leave them and neglect them there like that. That's a lot of frustration, especially people that travel from overseas and then want to come visit their families, and you put them in that quarantine. They can't see their families. You got to provide everything for them, just like they're staying in a luxury hotel with all amenities and everything available, room service, cleanliness, and all that. Even the room service, people that go clean their rooms need to wear their PPEs, personal protective equipments, to go clean their rooms, to make sure these people are taken care of, so they're not sitting there with depression and frustration. And I mean, that causes them to escape. And I heard some people already left. So I think that's a very important part that the government needs to look at. if they want to keep people in quarantine until they're done. And during that quarantine, if they can test them also while they're there, even if, I know it's like 14 days, but in that 14 days, if they can test them after 1 week and then test them at least the very last day before they go out or a day before they go out to make sure they don't have anything, don't still have any symptoms of it at all, before they release them to the public. That way, their family members are not also going to be running away from them, thinking that, well, they put them in quarantine, they may still have it, they may still have the virus. So you got to clear that doubt, and government should be able to come out and say, they don't have to reveal people's identities, but they can say, on television, since they will be doing things on television every day, they need to be doing that every day and sensitizing people. And as part of that, they should be able to say, today we are releasing 3 people to go home because they've been in quarantine for 14 days. And during these 14 days, we've tested them, we provided everything for them, we tested them, and they continue to be negative. So we have no doubt at this point, we can release them to go back to their families. And that will make people feel good that they're coming back to their families, and family members will be able to receive them without fearing of any transmission.
Yeah. So that being said, I just want to support your point with this. Okay. I know probably you guys have seen this before. Can you hear the voice?
Not the audio. I can see the pictures.
You cannot hear the audio.
No.
But it's okay. I think I know about this message.
Okay, so this is Gambia is a transit point for Senegal. Senegal is close their airports.
Yep.
Okay, this flight come from.
But I think this is about the passengers from UK who escaped the quarantine.
So this flight come from all the way from Netherlands, right? Okay. And then the flight's supposed to go to Brazil, but it transit through the Gambia.
I understand. Yeah, I know about it also.
So people are coming here and then just going through Senegal. And some people have been quarantined, and then 14 people they went out of town after being quarantined.
Yeah.
So you see this passengers?
Yeah.
They are coming from Netherlands, transiting to Banjul to go to Brazil. It doesn't make any sense. So I think what we've been seeing is like people have been taking this place as a transit place because our airports are not being closed.
They would not been secured. Yeah.
Our borders have not been closed, and we are not taking this seriously. So why is the government so lax on this?
Yeah, but that is the route sometimes. The airspace routes, the traffic. Sometimes you have to discuss with certain stations to have that allowance to close your airport. And I don't think that our government was too quick to work on those things. As I said, as Honorable also said, there are certain things. I think our reaction is very late. I mean, about this.
We are not proactive. We are not proactive.
Because where other people like Senegal or other countries were active in this thing and knew what is coming, they were prepared. And for us, I think everything came late because, as he said also, sensitizing the people. I think we are the only people doing it on Facebook all the time. For me, some people ask me, Alas, are you not doing the business anymore? Because they're seeing I'm posting only things sent apart from business, trying to help the people, to show them how to wash hands, to give them the information, the actual information about this disease and so on. Today, I'm very happy to see one video even, because I posted something about this hand blower, and I could see a lady, I think it's from America, giving an interview, was having this corona, and it was very terrible with her. And somebody called her and told her, I saw a video, that was my video going viral, how to use this hand blower on your nose and things. So this person sent her this text and she tried it. And today she's okay, can even give interview. So you can see how such information can help. you know.
Right.
So I was busy all the time doing these things for Gambian people and things like that. And many other people too. I would not say even I alone, because I used to see sometimes some ladies, they make videos and trying to make the people wake up in the Gambia. You know,
Mhm.
we have to, because we have our relatives. Even if we were here for how many years, doesn't matter.
Right.
That's where we come from. So we have
Yeah.
to do
So
our best. So
yeah,
the same thing should the government have done earlier also to be well prepared. I
right.
think.
So I guess we are coming close to the end of the this program, as we are scheduled for an hour. Unless we have missed something, we can go ahead and give our final summary of what we think this coronavirus, how we think we should deal with it, and then the preparedness, and also your final thoughts on it. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
It's fine.
for me, I can just say it's interesting, and we have to inspire our people every time, you know, because many people don't know what this disease can do. They can only see it on TV, but the transmission from one person to another, how quick. And it's good that you saw this video so that people can also think about it. This virus, we cannot see it. When I have it on my hand, I cannot see it. I can give Harlem. So these are the precautions. We have to be very careful. I'll not be tired talking. Sometimes I do it on phone, you know, to Gambia. And the next thing is what Honorable also said, and many people used to say that also, when you tell the people to stay home, you have to give them also something to eat. We all know in Gambia, some people, they need it. They must go out to feed their family. They must go out to have something to lunch. So if I ask them to stay home, being a government, I have to make sure that I try to compensate these people. Because even here, the German government is doing that. There are a lot of companies, they can send application, they'll get this money, and the government said don't want that even back. You understand? It's just a support, and governments are doing this for their own profits. Because when these companies are there and later things get good, say next month, they are the people going to work and they are the people paying the government again their taxes and so on. So it's a win-win situation. Not that a government is good or bad, but they have to think also economically. You understand? So all these shops, they have also a certain budget from a certain amount from the budget to support them. And then the poor people who cannot afford rice or so, I think every councillor parliament knows his constituency and know the people who are in need, for example. And these people should work also with the government and tell them, Mr. Sawane needs rice, Mr. Sise don't need rice. Things like that, to work with the government together, and they try to support these people, because when they are at home and cannot go out, they are starving. And that is not what we want. So they have two dangers. You have the corona outside and you have your stomach also. You understand? So in this case, the government should take a step. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you,
Yes,
Alex.
Sam. So you can
Okay.
go ahead, and then the honorable can come, and we can
Okay.
close it.
Okay. One of the things that I'll say first is to Honorable Tuma, is before I get into the other part, is whatever you guys can do as part of the National Assembly members, since you guys are there to represent people. I think when the constitutional review come to your desk, one of the things that maybe now or later, whatever is the convenient time, I think I'm recommending for the National Assembly to try to get more power into their hands and take some of the power from the executive, because your role is very important. You're there to represent people, and your voice counts. It speaks very loud for us, for people. So getting more power in your hand is more important than the power in the executive team. So that's one thing I want to say. All right. So on this side of this corona, just like Alex said, and I think we've exhausted a lot of good things about this. my point is the government to sensitize people, get on television and radio stations and advertise and talk about this every day and tell people what they need to do, continue to tell people the preventive measures they need to do, which should be from the health department. The health personnel, Ministry of Health personnel need to come out and do that. They need to have the program on radio and television every day. For the government, another part is really, before you ask people to stay home, provide something for them. We need to have food for people. We need to think about other things. And how can the government actually, I know people that are working, just like in America here, some people can work from home. Not very common or popular in Gambia, but still people are going to continue to receive their salary. What about the people that are not working? What can we do for them? What can the government do for them? Can the government really even subsidize their rent? If for example, if we say the month of April, month of April, nobody pays rent because you know why? The government is gonna take care of the landlord and subsidize their rent with taxes. So the landlord should not collect any rent from anybody. Help people stay home by taking care of some of their problems. That's one. And another part is, how can we, I know this one was late. Things didn't happen the right way in the right sequence as well.
Right.
Gambia is not very proactive. So how can we think about the future? In the future, I also know, correct me if I'm wrong, I also know that there is some rice coming from, I don't know, China or Japan or Thailand or wherever that is coming from. So that comes, he will use that
Actually, the Gambian government is going to get a lot of funding out of this.
Them for less. I heard all that. I don't know what's the truth. Was that?
No, I'm saying that Gambia government is going to get a lot of funding out of this.
Yep, good. So when they get that, what I'm trying to propose here is to get some reserve. At this point, when it comes, you need to get it to the people ASAP, as soon as possible. But think about getting a reserve for the government. Have big warehouses where you can store rice, oil, and some food products for emergency use as a reserve, just in case, towards the end of the year, towards the end of the expiration, before they expire. Distribute that to people, not to political people, not because so-and-so is in so-and-so party, I'm going to give it to this party people, or this group of people are not there. I mean, as a government or as a president, everybody falls under the president. The president oversees everyone, is the president for the entire country, and everyone needs to be treated equally and fairly. So that distribution needs to go to every house. Every house, doesn't matter, regardless of their party affiliation. It needs to get to everybody.
Yeah, like so Paul Kagame is doing in Rwanda.
Exactly.
He goes and makes sure that it's equally distributed among every family.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who is in what party. It doesn't matter. Give it to everybody, and every year when you get these supplies, restock your warehouse. Restock the warehouse as the emergency reserve for the country. In case we get into disasters like this, there is some food there where you can tell, in case of emergency, you can say, people stay home. But before they stay home, use that resources and send it out to everybody so they have plenty of food at home. So they can
medical supply. We should have stocks of medical supplies.
That should be a priority. So those are things that I wanted to say for the government to start thinking that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Pa. Thank you.
No problem.
Honorable Tuma.
Yeah, I think
you have the final word.
What I've just heard is so heartwarming, because this is something that we lack planning. We don't plan for emergencies. Yep. We always think that everything is going to remain the same. For example, what we are seeing today, we've never even thought, like you said, that it will come to the Gambia. So we are ill-prepared. We are not even prepared. Even some of us at home, we just live in like daily, not think of what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen if this thing happens. Because so that's why we are all in a state of shock at the moment. Like he said, if the government had thought of this, but what we think of, even when we are in power, we don't think of the long term. The government would think of, how am I going to stay for these 5 years? Not thinking what's going to happen for the future generation, that they will remember you forever beyond that 5 years. Because for me, you can stay in power for 10, 15 years, but what are they going to remember? when it comes to youth. Yes, the Sadauda Keraba regime wasn't one of the best, but when we think of it now, it's better than what we've ever had.
Yep.
At least, yeah. If you think of our civil service before and compare it, you give them more than 10 out of 10. You can add on top of what you give them. You think of that, and then you say, I want to leave a legacy. That is what I call a legacy. Because if you walk through a route and not leave footsteps, that walk is not worth walking.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm a politician. In as much as I would love to win elections, I would love to see the best person win. If I see somebody who can do the job better than I do, I would rather they do it. And if I go out there, for me, my legacy would be to see the lives of the youth changed, to see how many students I have seen through school so that they can better themselves. The opportunity I was given is something that I want for every child. Why isn't my government taking control and saying that my government, they go all over the world. They are most traveled government in any world, Gambia government. And I would say,
Yep.
I would laugh because they travel all over the world, but they always about Germany. I don't know why.
I love traveling.
I miss them here.
I used to travel even before I was in government. Like every year, I would travel 5 or 6 times. But now the rate I travel is too much. And for me to go and not bring the benefit, that is why I am working with the youths. Being exposed at the ECOWAS Parliament has exposed me. So it's like, if I am doing this and not include the young, once I step out, I want the youths to step in.
To fill the vacuum. You want them to fill the vacuum.
Exactly. And without me grooming them now, they cannot fill that vacuum.
Yeah.
And that is what I don't see my government doing. We
It's
don't
like
do a succession plan. We don't have succession plan.
It's like when one person is out, that's the end of the game.
That's the end of it.
What do we say? It's
Like
also
he said,
a young government
we would have had sufficient, the amount of food, the amount of rice that is donated, and we don't see it.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be under control.
It's used for political reasons, and that shouldn't be happening.
It shouldn't be happening. So that is my take. As part of the government, I am also taking responsibility. So it is not only the executive. I always say the National Assembly has a bigger role to play.
Yep.
Without us approving, executive will not execute.
Exactly.
So it is us that you should blame, not the president. And that's why I never blame the president. I blame me.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that. And then again, we the citizens also have responsibility, and that's why we have this new Gambian platform to sensitize with the community, our citizens, and sharing informations, and also holding our leaders accountable. So in order to sum it up, I thank you all. Thank you for coming to this show, and then we're gonna do this more and more again. We need more people, especially the politician on this show, so that they can also give us like what Honorable Tuma gave us today, and share their on the other side of the spectrum. Last week we have the press secretary Suso on our chat, and she was contributing. That was good. So today we have Tuma, MP for Banjul South, and that's also very helpful. So again, we're gonna be doing this every 2 weeks. Let's make sure that the price control, because people are illegally putting price up, taking advantage of the situation. This is the time that we are supposed to be given, not taken from people. And whoever can donate anything, please reach out to us. We're gonna reach out to the Ministry of Health, and then we're gonna be able to turn out those donations. Again, every citizen has the right. Every citizen is obligated to do this. We need to help at this for this crisis. Because this is something central. It's not caused by. It's nobody to be blamed. It's not caused by the government or anything like that. So we need to make sure we support our people, because there are people hungry. In New York here, 2 days ago, I went with my community. We bought some food. We gave it out. And yesterday also we did. So people are doing it here, even in America here, where people, you will even doubt that people are hungry, but there are people who in need. So what we did was we put money together. We got some other organization put the money, and we go and drive and drop it out. So let's all reach out and let's support each other. We're gonna pass through this. I mean, it's gonna pass, and we're gonna be back again. So let's stay strong. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Savannah. So
Yeah.
we
Thank
really
you all.
because of time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Alas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Savannah. Thank
Thank you,
you,
Madam Tuma. Yeah. Thank you,
Madam
Sam.
Tuma.
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you for
Yep.
having
All right.
me
Take
on
care.
here.
Yeah. I'll call you on, and we're gonna get those informations. Thank
Okay.
you. All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All
All
right.
right.
All right. Pa. I will share everything with you
Yep.
guys. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All
Thank you.
right.